So while browsing through YouTube, I found this 1-minute decades-old Super Smash Bros. Melee review from the classic G4 channel by some Tommy Tallarico fella and his friend Victor. Seemed harmless enough, but then I watched it, and oh boy, despite being 1 minute, it's a doozy of bad game reviewing. So let's break it down point by point because I feel like getting angry today.
Well, you know, I gotta tell you, it's another GameCube letdown, another GameCube disappointment in my book. It goes down, another check one off.
I agree. I was not impressed with this game. And maybe the idea originally was kind of cool, but you know what? Now it's just a gimmick, especially on these amazing brand new consoles. And the GameCube is so powerful. I don't want to play an N64 game on the GameCube.
Right.
We already have our first red flags, as these reviewers don't explain by what they mean by a gimmick in this game. Do they mean the crossover elements? Do they mean the platformer fighter style? Like, what do you mean? Like, just because your review is short doesn't mean you can just throw words at the screen. You still gotta make those words into a coherent point.
You basically pick one character or a bunch of characters and you fight against another character in some kind of Nintendo game environment. Kind of seems like it could be interesting, but the reality is that all you're doing really is just pushing buttons, and I didn't feel like there was any strategy whatsoever.
Ignoring the fact that Melee would become the Smash Bros. For strategy and competition in the years to come, you could describe so many video games as pushing buttons. It's kind of reductive to mention it unless it's like Shenmue 3 where the tutorial of the game literally says to your face to do that. Maybe explain what exactly pushing the buttons do, Victor and Tommy.
I'm giving this a 3 out of 10.
Wow, 3.
It's just not impressive.
Right.
The GameCube is supposed to be about the next steps and the next level of gameplay. This is exactly the same kind of gameplay.
Preach on, brother.
3 out of 10.
I give it a 2.5.
My brothers in Allah, this is literally a sequel to an N64 game. What did you expect? These guys keep going about how not next-gen it is when they don't even mention the big graphical improvements Melee has compared to the N64 Smash Bros. I think what fascinates me about this video the most is, as someone who does shorter videos myself, I still want to be coherent and thorough with my thought process of why I like or dislike a piece of media. And I've seen other good short reviews from other people, so I know it can be done, so it's why it fascinates me to see this review completely fall at its face. It, along with the G4 channel, are a great example of how publicly amateur writing for video games was for a majority of the 2000s. And definitely the worst thing I've seen this Tommy Tallarico fellow do. Now if you excuse me, I'm gonna catch up on some YouTube video essays starting with H-Bomber Guy's Roblox Oof video. I'm sure it'll have no connection to whatever I just talked about here.